Hi, everybody. Hi, everyone. It's here, Patsy, and thanks for joining me this afternoon for reading for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I'm going to be using a new deck of cards, the Divine Feminine and Masculine Reunited Oracle cards, and these are by Christabel Jessica. All right, so this is 44 Oracle cards broken down into four categories: male, masculine energy, feminine energy, shadow, and light. And so far, these seem to be very interesting readings. Lots of information on how to handle these challenges. So I am just going to wait a few minutes, see if we can get some more people to join the room. Please, if you're watching this video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you come into the room during the reading and you're watching the live stream, please don't forget to hit the like button so that others will know that we are here and that we are live and we're doing this reading. Appreciate all of my subscribers and those of you who haven't subscribed as yet. And all of the views and the likes and the shares. It's just amazing. So I already did the reading this morning for Libra, and it's uploaded. I like doing these lives only for the fact that it's easier to upload them to YouTube. And what I've been doing is starting this reading here and going through the majority of the reading, and then I'll do the second part of the reading on Vimeo, uploading it to Vimeo using cards from the Tarot of Sexual Magic, which is published by Los Cabero. So I'm going to get started with this and welcome everyone as they join the room. If you are interested in having a personal reading, please you can send an email to pbtarot7, the number 7, at gmail.com. And let me know what type of reading it is that you're interested in, and I'll get back to you. And again, we appreciate those requests for readings and very enlightening and helpful. And also, feel free to make any donations that you feel like making. I appreciate that. Super chat is enabled, I believe. And if not, you can always send a donation to me through PayPal. And I'll thanking you in advance. My family and I appreciate all of this. So let's get starting. Let's get started with the reading. Like I said, when you come to the room, please hit the like button, say something in the chat, let me know that you're here. And I'm going to commence with this reading for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for the time period between now and the end of August 2018. First energy that came up for you all today, Aries, is Raumako, God of Awakening. Number 8. So, number 8, is infinite. So this is an awakening that's been a progression, okay? And awakenings go on throughout the history of the world, in every culture, and it continues throughout all of our lives, our past lives, our present lives, and our future incarnations. So let's see what this is about. From the masculine side of the table. Ramoko speaks. I wish to bring insight to the awakening process of the masculine. The collective of the feminine feels that the masculine does not outwardly seem to be awakening. This is due to a preconceived idea she holds internally regarding what the process should look like based on her own perspective. Remembering that we are mirror opposites of each other due to both holding separate ends of a polarity of energy, our process is different to that of the feminine. The very nature of the energy we hold within is linked to our unique form of being. Our form of creation is connected to the sun, to action, and is manifested in an extremely physical way. This is the mirror opposite of the feminine process of awakening through energies connected. Oh my goodness, I'm not hooked up. Sorry, folks. I have been able to hear all that. I'm so sorry. Let's try this again. Um, Ramoko speaks. This is the male energy. I wish to bring insight to the awakening process of the masculine. The collective of the feminine feels that the masculine does not outwardly seem to be awakening. This is due to the preconceived notion, the preconceived idea she holds internally regarding what the process should look like. This is based on her own perspective, remembering that we are mirror opposites of each other due to both holding separate ends of a polarity of energy. Our process is different to that of the feminine. The very nature of the energy we hold within is linked to our unique form of being. Our form of creation is connected to the sun, connected to action, and is manifested in an extremely physical way. This is the mirror opposite of the feminine process of awakening through energies connected to the moon, inner receptivity, inner receptivity and intuition pulled down through spirit. For us, it is much more common to experience our intuition in a very instinctual, physical way through our bodies, putting our intuition straight into action. Therefore, our awakening may not be facilitated through spiritual healings and inner processing as much as the feminine. If we decline an invitation to participate in a meditation or healing session or similar, it does not mean that we are not awakening and healing. Our awakening is experienced viscerally and somatically through our bodies, similar to the volcano that is erupting behind me. Okay, so the male energy is letting us know that they don't experience their awakening the same way we do. All right, that we experience it with, I guess, physically um, downloads, getting um, the physical symptoms that we have experienced as we've been going through this journey. Feels like an eruption, feels like something going on physically inside of him. Maybe that's why they have a lot of nervous energy. Maybe that's why, okay, because they're trying to get away from it, the feeling. Maybe when they are in contact with the feminine, it comes up more. And so then, therefore, they feel it is something that they have to repel, that they have to run from. All right, but eventually they get it because that's why we're here, right? But it don't, I guess what it's saying is don't, for us not to look for the awakening in our male counterparts to look like our awakening. And just because it doesn't look like our awakening doesn't mean that he is not becoming woke, that he's not getting woke, because he is. because he is. So they're just letting us know that this is how it is for them. That it's physical and visceral, something that they feel inside that they may not show outwardly, and they may not even have the words to express. But like a volcano, it's bubbling under the surface and then it explodes. And when it explodes, it's going to be something that everybody's going to be able to see and feel. The change, when they change, it's going to be obvious. Our change may be more subtle to people around us. But I think what it's saying is that when the male energy finally has his awakening, it's something that nobody's going to be able to ignore because it's really going to change the way he moves in 3D. Okay, excellent. So that's the male is dealing with trying to get us to understand how he's manifesting his awakening. The female energy, the feminine energy that came up for Aries today is number 1, Mary Magdalene, the goddess of strength. So, Mary Magdalene is depicted as number 1. So, she's a leader, right? What's going on in front of her looks like the magician table in the tarot. All the tools that are necessary, all the tools that are needed in order to do what she needs to do. All right? She has the strength, she has the knowledge, the blessings, all the tools that she needs to be strong and to teach and to lead. Hi, Katrilla. Okay, so let's see what Mary Magdalene is going to share with us today. Mary Magdalene speaks. I come forward to speak about the divine feminine energy of strength. Hey, Sarah J. You're welcome. Women are innately strong, but are also designed to have times of introspection. In your time, many women have learned to be the pillars of strength, never faltering in their resolve, moving forward day after day, never feeling safe to let down their guard, to take a moment of solace, to soften and ease into the natural goddess cycles. It saddens me when I see people feeling unsafe to be in their emotion, unsafe to be anything other than a pillar of strength. Women are naturally designed to be aligned with cycles. Due to the current state of functionality of your day to day life in society, there's no system set up to allow for even temporary crumbling of the pillars. Working through menstruation, returning to work shortly after losing a loved one, no downtime, working jobs that are soul crushing, never providing satiation of passion and inner needs. It takes strength to deeply feel, to allow yourself to be held. It is a different type of strength to that of being an unwavering pillar. If you pull this card, you are at the forefront of changing this paradigm for society, returning to feeling, returning to softness, emotion, a balance of strength and femininity. Ashe. So we, feminine, Aries, leaders, first sign of the zodiac, right? Mars energy, fight. Even within all of that, we are being told to understand that the tools that we have at our disposal include our femininity, that we don't always have to be strong, and we don't always have to hide our emotions or not express our pain or to just keep carrying on. There's a time and a place and a need to embrace our femininity And it gets easier, I imagine, when we feel that we have a partner that we can trust and rely on. And so the masculine energy of awakening is working with the goddess of strength. So maybe the message that we are being sent today is to reassure the feminine that the masculine is he's getting it. He's awakening. And soon enough, she'll be able to share her tasks, the work that she's been doing, the strength that she's been carrying, maybe for both of them, that he'll be able to carry his part of this load soon. And then she can work on the rest of her magic and more feel more enabled to soften up and to be more of a feminine energy, because she'll be able to have someone to balance out her strength and have confidence that he is indeed able to match her, because he too is awakening. He is coming towards her with that. And when he does, it's going to be so obvious and so strong that she is going to have a chance to sit back and let him take it. Because you always knew that your masculine was capable of leading. It's just that he wasn't aware of it. He wasn't awake, and he wasn't. He just didn't know. He was very unsure of himself. But this is telling you that this is the dynamic that you all are going to be dealing with. So maybe you're going to have to let go of some of your control issues, your need to control, your need to be the leader. Maybe you'll have to take a few steps back. But once you do it, knowing that he's already there and that he's awake and that he's as capable, if not more, than you are of sharing this energy, sharing these messages, leading the two of you forward, and maybe you can just be able to relax a bit. And so maybe they're telling you that this is the time. The lesson that you're going to be working with this month may help you all resolve this particular issue. So, speaking of issues, the shadow that you all will be working on or working with or dealing with or confronting this month is fear. Number 6, fear. Now we know 6 is love, so fear of love, fear of disconnection, fear of something, and both of you, through awakening and through strength, are going to have to deal with this emotion of fear. All right, so let's see what fear number 6 is about. Although it may seem that hate is the opposite of love, it is in fact fear that counters love. Love is everything, the very energy that makes up every single thing in existence. And because God is everything and everything is God, this means simplistically that fear is forgetting that you are God. That's the awakening. Remembering that you are God. Now, this is okay. It's part of being human, a natural part, in fact. The way to work through fear is to first feel it deeply. This would seem contrary to the traditional advice of distraction and positive focus, yes? The thing is, feeling it with the intention of releasing it and acknowledging it creates a different energy to letting fear run wild in your subconscious. Feeling the fear with the intention of releasing it and acknowledging it creates a different energy to letting fear run wild in your subconscious. Allowing the parts of you that are scared to have a voice is the way to release them. Start by feeling the fear. Wrap yourself in a blanket. Do whatever you can to hold yourself through it. Then write a list of all the reasons why you feel scared. Then write points for each of these original reasons until you have amassed a list of all of the subconscious beliefs, memories, and thought constructs that you have surrounding the issue. You may be surprised by what you find. Once you work through this list, discovering what you are holding on to in your somatic memory, you will be in a place to tell yourself a new story, a new set of beliefs. Talk to the scared parts of you. Explain as you would to a child why these fears are no longer valid. That is an awakening, and that is strength. Being able to face your fears, name them, call them out, cry, whatever you got to do, whatever emotion you need to get through it, crying, yelling, writing, dancing, anything that is safe and not going to harm anyone. And then be able to release it because you're starting this exercise about your fear with the intention of getting through it and releasing it. So you already know that you're not going to be stuck at the end of this. And you know that you're going to be safe because you're in control of this exercise. You are bringing your own fears to the table. You are triggering yourself. And you are going to figure out all the information that you need through prayer and meditation so that you can be able to reassure your inner child that there's nothing to fear. To let your inner child understand as well as you that the divine got you and that you have the tools that you need to deal with these situations as they come up because you are awake now. And so the things that you were afraid of when you were a little boy, a little girl, you don't need to be afraid of them because now you have the tools that you need in order to overcome these challenges. Strength comes with the awakening for both of you. And because you're supporting one another, you're balancing all of this out. You're able to do this now where your partner is there to assist you, to be supportive of you, because you're in communication, you're in contact, you're either living together, you're married, or there's nothing standing between you. There are no other energies, no karmics, none of that. So you can work on your stuff, knowing that you're being supported spiritually by your soul guides, your soul team, your ancestors, the creator, whoever, and right here, physically next to you. Because you may need a hug, because you may need someone to hold your hand, because you may need someone to just be there for you while you go through each of these challenges about the fears that you hold inside. So the beauty of this part of the journey is that this time you'll have support of your twin. And you will be supportive of them while they're going through theirs. So I think it might be a good idea not to do it at the same time. Take turns. Take turns helping each other out and take turns purging this. And always knowing that you can always stop and call on your ancestors for help. And you can call on your ancestors to help your twin. You can call on their ancestors if they're unable to do it because of whatever reason that they're going through right now. Pray for them while they're doing this. You could pray silently, you could pray out loud. Pray for them and with them while they are dealing with these different issues. And you can ask their spirit guides to intercede for them. You can ask your spirit guides to intercede for them on their behalf. Because they put you all together because they know y'all are working together. And they want you all to succeed because this is the ascension of both these family lines. So take advantage of the connection and their strength in numbers so you can deal with these fears. So now, what is the light? What tools have you acquired that are going to help you both to deal with this lesson, with this exercise of facing your fears? The card that came up here is number 3, transcendence. Transcendence. Oh, Patty, what was wrong with you? Number 3, transcendence. So this is changing, transformation, going from being closed to being open to encircling, right? So from being afraid to embracing love. Number 3. 3 is for those people who believe in the Judeo-Christian scriptures, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, right? Trinity. 3 becomes 1. 3 parts of the whole. And this is the light for you in this situation. Transcendence. You're being gently reminded that observing your life and circumstances from multiple points of view is the avenue towards feeling at peace. Often, as humans, we can feel the need to come to one logical resolution when it comes to our life. Repeat that again. Often, as humans, we can feel the need to come to one logical resolution when it comes to our life. The reality is, though, that we are multifaceted beings living in a world based in duality, coexisting, co-creating with the human part of ourselves in conjunction with our higher self. For this reason, it is okay if you find yourself flitting from one perspective to another from minute to minute. Not only is it okay, it's actually the way to get through problems quicker. Our linear minds work on cognizing reason for cognizing reason for why things happen. Why people are acting the way they act, etc. Okay, so this is how our mind works that we have to try to understand, be cognizant. of the reasons why things happen. So this is part of being human, right? And it's logical to try to figure out why things happen and why people are acting the way they are acting, etc. Attempting to explain away our situations and feelings can lead to spiritual bypassing. This can leave us in a position of not feeling the emotion under the surface. Our growth and expansion is dependent on feeling the emotions deeply before returning to the higher perspective. Can you think of a situation in your life right now that requires your attention from an emotive point of view? And can you see the higher wisdom for the experience, the interaction, or the event? So, again, this is talking about feeling the things that you fear or the challenges that you may be facing, feeling the emotion deeply before turning, taking the higher perspective. So work through it, through the humanity of it, in order to be able to handle it with the divine perspective, the duality of our lives. So feel it, like they told us for fear. Feel it, work through it, express it, write it down, try to figure out where the links are as far back as you can go. And then, once you've gained that, look at it from a divine perspective and see now, how are you going to handle the situation differently than you may have in the past? So you're seeking higher wisdom in order to deal with this experience or this event. Like someone passed away. Let's just take that because that's one I know. First of all, in the beginning, I was scared of death. Anything. I was very, very afraid of death. But over time, over years, different experiences that I've had, I've become more comfortable and able to make peace with the fear of death. Just like a few weeks ago, I was talking about my fear of water, right? Now, I don't swim, and I'm okay with that. And I've always thought, well, I kind of had an idea. Something told me that my one of my aunts had taken me into like a wave down in Florida, and I just freaked out, and that was it. And I would fight even to get my hair washed when I was younger. I have to, even now, I use the shower, I'm turning around. The greatest invention that they ever made was the shower, that the handle thing. Oh, thank you so much for that. Because I really have a big fear of that. So a few weeks ago, I was watching, maybe 2 weeks ago, the 21st actually of June. I had the opportunity to watch this movie, Daughters of the Dust, and I know I've talked about it before, but it was interesting and serious, and it was just such an awakening. And I heard about the story of the Igbo people who, rather than allow themselves to be enslaved, turn around with the chains and the handcuffs and everything, and in mass, turned around and walked into the water, saying that the water brought them there and the water will take them home. Hundreds of people who said, I'd rather take my chances. And they walked into the ocean until they were submerged, because that to them was more a better option than what they knew that they would be facing if they allowed themselves to become slaves, become chattel in this strange, strange land. So this happened for the shores of South Carolina, Gullah country, they call it now. And I've come to understand that my family came from some parts of my father's side of the family came from that area in South Carolina. So perhaps I witnessed that, you know, previous incarnation, a previous life. I'm not that old. A previous incarnation of mine may have witnessed that, or maybe was one of those people who took that stand and faced the fear, but walked into that water strong and said, I will rather take my chances with the ocean. There was a level of belief that they had that the Orisha or of Yemiyadi, Orisha, Olokun was going to take care of them and bring them back home. So this again is something that I've always been afraid of. And it hasn't taken away the fear at all. I'm still not trying to learn how to swim yet. But it gave me a perspective that maybe this again is evidence of past lives for myself, that I either was part of the crowd of people who walked back into the ocean, or I was one of those who stood and watched those people. And it's not far-fetched because when I did my DNA, I'm from the area where these people, yeah, exactly. Wow is what I said. Where these people came from, the Igbo people. The Igbo, the Fan, the Igbo, West Africa. That's where my DNA is from, and large parts of it. And surprisingly, not that much Caucasian. A little bit. And it's from Finland. Oh no. Anyway, I'll figure that out eventually as I continue to do my ancestry. But I thought that was like interesting. Like maybe, and wherever my aunt took me into that wave down in Jacksonville, Jacksonville has a lot of beaches. I didn't know this. And a lot of water. And so those same waters from, Charleston, South Carolina would be right there on the edge of Jacksonville beaches. That same water. And so maybe when she picked me up and ran into that wave with me, it really freaked me out. I was a little girl, like one and a half, two, when she did that. But I kept that memory, and the fear of suffocating. I remember thinking to myself, how does somebody let themselves die? How do you let yourself not breathe? But that's how I was thinking as a kid. How do you let yourself not breathe? But in my mind, because I've never seen any violent deaths or anything like that, just the idea of someone being in the casket and not breathing, but they're laying there looking like they're themselves, why can't they just breathe? That's how my mind processed it. My great grandmother on my mother's side, I had a dream a year before she died that she was going to die on that day. I remember that because my boyfriend at the time, it was his birthday. And when I saw him, I was telling him how I had this dream about my great grandmother and that she, had died. Well, she didn't die that day, but exactly a year later to the date, she did die. I freaked out because in my mind, even though now I'm 16, 17 years old, I killed my great grandmother. I had a premonition that caused her to die. Though it wasn't, you should have seen me. I'm outside in the limousine, wouldn't even get out to go into the funeral parlor. They had dragged me to the funeral, and I was sitting in the limo, refusing to go into the funeral home. My grandfather, who was her son, came outside to the car and asked me what had happened. And I explained to him that I felt that I had jinxed great grandmother. And he was like, oh no. And he came outside and he got me and he brought me to the casket and he made me stand there as much as I was frightened and scared and crying and telling me and explaining to me that that was her way of reassuring me by letting me know in advance before anybody so that I wouldn't be afraid because she knew how it was going to affect me. But she wanted to give me that connection with her for me to know that. I didn't know what that he's talking about, but I knew that I felt better by him standing there and putting his arms around me and telling me not to be afraid and to touch and know that she would never hurt me. Why would she ever hurt me? And he was right. And so when, oh, so last month, June 21st, when I was able to watch this movie, this Daughters of the Dust, that had such an impact on me, apparently. Whose birthday was that? The same great grandmother. I can't make this stuff up, you guys. This is how my spirit works with me. But I have to be able to stand back a little and look at it logically and not emotionally, and then find the synchronicities. And just now telling you that story is just the synchronicity that I just got about, oh, okay, yeah, right. She wanted me to see that movie on her birthday. She made sure that I knew it was her birthday, even though I had forgotten all about it. And right now, I'm telling you the story of how part of the way that I overcame my fear of death was by the knowing that I had a year in advance that she was going to die. The fact that it happened on a day that I would definitely keep in my mind because it was my boyfriend's birthday. It's my first boyfriend, and it's his birthday, and it's a day that I would not forget. And here it is a year later, and that's the day she died. But it was preparing me for something, to not be afraid. I even saw her on the street one time after this happened, down in Brooklyn on Flatbush Avenue. And I just had my daughter. So this was 4 or 5 years later. And I'm walking down the street and I passed this woman, and she looked just like my great grandmother. And I turned around and she looked at me. And then, I did one of these and I turned back around and she was gone. I just had my baby. And I was rushing because I was nursing and I was starting to feel, how the milk comes down. But as I'm rushing, I passed this woman, and it's not a empty street. It's a crowd of people, Flatbush Avenue, in the middle of the day, on a weekday. But I turned around and I saw this woman who looked just like her. And we locked eyes. And then I turned away and turned back, and she was gone. All right. But I wasn't afraid. She just wanted me to know she was around. Same way she wants me to know she's around right now. And that she always has been around. And things happen for a reason. All things. So, did I read the, sorry, guys. Yes, we're going to learn how to integrate from our fears to being open to being whole, love. That's all right. So this transcendence is how we're going to conquer these fears. This is 6 and this is 3. 6 and 3 is 9. So again, messages from the dead, messages from our ancestors. My goodness. And this is an 8. And this is a 1. Again, a 9. Messages from our ancestors. So this lesson is brought to you today by our ancestors to face our fears, to understand that the awakening shows up differently in the masculine than it does in the feminine, but there is strength that the feminine shows that she will welcome the awakening of the masculine so that she can step forth in her femininity more and further her own transcendence. Because maybe when she can take off some of that sternness and self-protection, she can continue to be more open and accept more of what the divine has waiting for them both. And his awakening, looking like an eruption, may at some point overshadow her quiet strength. And that's okay, because that just gives her time to transcend more, to be more open, because she's not guarding herself. She's not being on alert all the time. She can have a chance to enjoy the luxury of her change. From the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reed, we're going to get some more messages and see what else, what other energies, what other advice there is for us here today. So we're going to, oh, perfect. Okay, perfect. 4 cards from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. First card that came here, number 23, which is 5, the Dragon's Duel. So this is about the conflict that we all go through, inner conflict, morality, and conscious choices. So we have these 2 dragons, both strong, looking like the yin and yang, looking like infinity, struggling with each other. And this has been a struggle that's been going on for a long time, just like the battle of the sexes, right? But there are ways to get out of this, because it's not totally closed. Let's see what that message is for, I just had this book. Number 23. The dragon's duel takes place at the proverbial fork in the road. It's both ally and challenger at once, as it represents the tension of opposites. Even though the truth is that we live in unity, we experience the duality of faith, doubt, love, and fear, right and wrong, black and white. This aspect of your current experience asks you to accept that although you may be going one way, another may call to you to change direction. Now is the time to inquire whether it's your ego or your soul leading you. There are always choices in life. Decision making also resolves in a conflict. If you're torn between two dragons, the one that you choose to feed will be the one that wins. Which is it? If it's not the one that serves your highest intentions, deliberately feed the other and the duel will be won in your favor. So if you have a choice and you can't make up your mind, see where your energy flows. What see where your energy flows. See what of those choices gives you more time to think. Maybe it's saying that how far into this situation can you imagine yourself? What does the end game look like? Draw that out in your head. And whichever one of those scenarios starts to look better to you, and if that's the one that you start to manifest, then that's the one that you will manifest. Or that is the uh, choice that you will eventually make of the two choices. But you have to be realistic. You have to do the research, do the spiritual work, ask your ancestors, find out what the fears are that may be keeping you from making a decision. Which of these decisions is in the best interest of your purpose? Which is going to help you in the change that you're trying to make, the wholeness that you are looking to achieve. Wherever you put your energy, whichever of these dragons you feed, that's the one that's going to survive. And the other one will drift away. All right, so that fell on top of masculine energy of the awakening. So this is talking possibly about the inner conflict that he may be feeling as he's going through the awakening, the physical symptoms that he may be feeling, the confusion, and a conscious choice that he is going to make when that eruption happens. Is he going to run away from it, or is he going to feed it? Is he going to embrace it? Well, we know he will. He will. The challenge of the Horse King, number 42. 4 and 2 is 6. Love. Assistance and control. And that fell on top of number 1, Mary Magdalene. So, assistance, the goddess of strength, control. So you are assisting the divine masculine. You have been assisting him. And you have been exerting some control. But we're talking about, at the end, transcending and releasing our need for control. But right at this point in our journey, this has served you and us and the collective, and so we thank each other very much for that control. So what it's telling us is that that was the strength. Your desire to be helpful, your love, your self-control, doing this through these situations and these challenges, your ability to use the tools as you have come across them for your better, for the betterment of this whole situation. The Horse King. The Horse King comes to lend you the power to go the distance, forging ahead, whatever the weather. You will most certainly reach your perfect destination in this noble ally. He lets you know that some person or circumstance brought through synchronicity will certainly appear to help you with your endeavors. Ashe. Could be this guy. You aren't meant to go this part of the journey alone. Well, yeah, that's what we've been hoping for. That's what this twin flame journey is all about. Thank you very much. Someone to help you. You aren't meant to go on this part of the journey alone, no matter how strong you are. This is also an important time to delegate authority to others so that they may assist you. When this when the masculine becomes awake, he can take over some of these duties. Currently, you're magnetic to powerful people who are in a position to help your dreams come true. The Horse King asks that you remain open to those who are sent to aid you. You can be assured that you will be lifted up and ride high in the victory. The Horse King wants to know why you think you can do everything by yourself. Keeping control of everything around you is counterproductive and exhausting. Well, we know that, don't we? We know exhaustion. You may lose an important opportunity if you insist on being stubborn. The Horse King is patient, however, and will wait for you to come to your senses and accept the goal you need. You won't be able to reach your goal otherwise. Yet the Horse King says that all it takes is a decision to jump on his back, ask for help, and graciously allow yourself to be carried to your destination. Let go of control, and amazing things can happen for you. So, Divine Feminine, you're being notified. Your vacation is coming up. You are going to be able to let go of control and rely with confidence on the help of your divine masculine. And it's just saying to be ready to make that transition, to hand over the baton, or at least let them help you carry the end. And that's going to be liberating for you. Yes, because you're tired. Next energy that came here, number 44. Master number, master year, 44, twin flame number, and foundational. 44. Fours are about foundation. And this is called the Lady of the Mirror. Reflection and non-judgment. And that fell on the fear card. So we talked about reflecting on the things that frighten us, that make us afraid, things that we fear. Look at them, don't judge them, but understand them and get past them. This is the foundation of who you are and who you are meant to be. Number 44 is the Lady in the Mirror. The Lady in the Mirror is both ally and challenger, asking you to see yourself in the mirror made by the events in your life. She represents the powerful force of the law of attraction and reminds you that you are what you attract. What you are is what you attract. This isn't to say that you need to blame yourself for inviting transgressions, or if you find yourself a victim of a big picture event, say a war. This is a distorted interpretation of this law. Certain events are fated to test our faith. Rather, find yourself within the web woven through your life, your relationships, opportunities, desires, seeming failures and successes. Observe how you've responded to life's challenges, big and small, and be aware of what is familiar in the present. Release all judgment and accept things exactly as they are with love. The lady in the mirror asks that you honor every part of your story as essential to your highest unfolding. Can you see yourself as being exactly where you need to be on your path? Do you love what you see in the mirror? Can you perceive your part in your reactions and the motives behind your current inquiry? You will find your answer in a thorough and honest self appraisal. So, when you look at yourself, you're looking at your fears, you will be able to get these things addressed without judging yourself or the situation, knowing that all of these things are for our higher good, all right, for our growth. And the last card here, number two, again, love, the High Lord of gratitude and service, selflessness, humility, and conscious action. So this is three and this is two, so together this is change. These are changes, transcendence, right? Selflessness, humility, conscious action. So, conscious action, doing the reflecting about your fears, all right? Allowing yourself to ask for assistance and give up control. Making a conscious choice on how to handle this conflict between these two energies within you as you are awakening. So these are all actions. These are all conscious, thoughtful actions that you are employing in order to get yourself over and through these fears. The High Lord of gratitude and service has arrived to help you find your true purpose today. Feeling gratitude in each moment you experience and loving what is and what has been will remind you that every breath you take holds deep and profound awareness. Through small actions and selfless service to another, you are automatically placed upon your highest path, whether you're immediately aware of it or not. The presence of this ally lets you know that you are on the correct path to fulfilling your desires. So that means if you're watching this video right now, whenever you're watching it, if you're in the live stream or whatever, you are on the right path. That's the message for you. You're also notified to get your actions of service and attitude of gratitude. You're also notified that your actions of service and attitude of gratitude will yield riches beyond your wildest dreams as long as those riches aren't the goal you have in mind. Giving service with no thought of return is what's required of you today. This would also be a good time to write a list reminding yourself of all the things in your life and the world around you that you have to be grateful for. If your question refers to a relationship, let gratitude be your guide. Be thankful for all you learned from this person.
Truly, there are no friends and no enemies, just teachers along life's journey. Be grateful for the laughter and even for the tears. The attitude of gratitude is a magnet for true love in all forms. When the High Lord of Gratitude and Service comes to challenge you, he signals a time for deep self inventory. Ask yourself if your desires are driving you to become more self serving. Have you forgotten to help others? Are you so focused on arriving at your goal or at your destination? Did you become isolated from the ones that you care for? Do your ambitions relate to making yourself special apart from others or better than they are? Have you become competitive or envious or driven? The High Lord of Gratitude and Service challenges you to accept a gentle gift in the form of a new perception of wealth and ambition. There's an ancient saying scrawled on an old stone wall. True ambition is not what you believe it to be. Excuse me, no focus on winning a jeweled prize, no amount of pomp and circumstance will achieve true prosperity. True ambition is the deep desire to live usefully and walk humbly under the grace of the divine in service to all. That's what this is about for you. Or that's what it should be about for you. And you can apply this also to relationships. The impulse to have your own way or control how things will be serves only to push away the one you love. It creates an energy block that repels your desired outcome. So it's far out of reach. Let go and let the divine lead you to the highest outcome. In a tiny, still moment of surrender, miracles are born. When you shift your perception in alignment with this High Lord, success will indeed be yours. So shift your perception. Don't worry about what you're going to get out of it, of any of this. Worry about what it is that you have to give and what are you going to be able to share, whether it be support through praying for your partner or working in the community, working with other people, volunteering, whatever it is that you do, liking, sharing, subscribing, whatever you do that is going to be not for your benefit, but maybe for the benefit of other people, taking the focus off of yourself will bring you closer to what you desire, but you have to not be expecting any rewards. Kind of have to just get caught up in the excitement of the spiritual journey that you're taking on your own and focus on yourself and doing your work. And when you take the focus off of the relationship that may not have manifested into union yet, or maybe having some challenges now that you are in union, if you take your focus just away from trying to fix her or him and worry about what it is that you have to share, what it is that you have to give to others, doing your prayers, doing your work, and being grateful for the opportunity to share and to give. Maybe then success will be yours. I think I thank God that these messages are so interrelated to one another. Even me, and I'm not. When I do these readings, I only remember what I say most of the time until I go back and read it. And I do go back and read it because These messages are not just ministering to others. These messages are ministering to me too. Believe that. I'm very aware of that. So there are things that I need to know and ways that I need to move based on these readings. I just thank God that the way this particular gift that I've been introduced to, the tarot cards and the oracle cards, this the way they work and the way they speak to our concerns, this is magnificent. And I'm grateful for the gift that are my ancestors who helped me with these readings and give me the words to say. This is some experience. It's amazing. So, oh, it's inexplicable. It really, like I said, just thank God. Let's see what energies we can get from the Conscious Spirit Oracle by Kim Dwyer and see if there's any further. Oh. All right. Number 35, Nature's Spirits. I respect all of nature's elemental beings and help preserve life on Earth. So, respecting all of nature, the fairies and the sylphs and the animals, the spiders, the mice, I guess even the roaches. Everything that has been given breath and life. So, learning how to appreciate that, learning how to tap into that. That's, I guess, another level of awakening and ascension. Also, because this is just the way it always comes to me whenever I see this card, since I've opened up this deck, maybe someone around you is overindulging in drinking alcohol or marijuana. That's that's a natural spirit. All right, so be aware of that, be careful of that. All right, so that may be a message to somebody to be respectful of liquor. Be respectful. If you're going to use it, fine, have a drink. I don't know that there's something that says you can't, but be mindful, not overindulging. That may be a fear of one of you. Maybe you all dealt with a parent who was alcoholic, and so you're afraid that you may fall back into that. Yeah. Okay. So this may be one of your fears. And if your partner is aware of it, then there may be something that they need to do that they can do to easily maybe help you. Or if this is a fear of yours and your partner overindulges in alcohol, then maybe the lesson here for you is to embrace the fear and help them to do the work that they need to do in order to put that down instead of running away from it. Okay, instead of running away from the fear that you may have, because maybe you had an alcoholic partner before, or an alcoholic parent, or drug addicted parent or partner before. So, for those of you who may be facing that challenge and maybe ready to walk away from it, maybe it's telling you to embrace the fear and work with the tools that you have now. The tools that you have now to help them overcome this addiction. And that way you won't be afraid of it because you will have learned how to employ your tools. And now there'll be no judgment. about that because you will have transcended that fear. Good service. You can make somebody kick a habit, or not make, but help someone in their journey, not make at all, because again, we're getting away from control. And I use that word make, that was just a slip of the tongue, did not mean that at all. But to be able to help someone get over that addiction, this could be the healing, right? Because for some reason, these dragons here, they remind me of the snake on the medicine catechist. That reminds me of that look. So very much so. He even has the dragon wings like the catechist has the wings on it. Yeah. So again, healing. So are you going to feed into your fear? Or are you going to feed into the healing? Because you have the tools now. There's no need to be afraid of mother healing. Okay, so maybe somebody's mother had a challenge with drugs or alcohol, and maybe this is an issue. It could be your divine partner, the male or female. As your feelings towards your mother heal, your desires manifest more rapidly and accurately. So if you had a problem with the parent, male or female, but if this is what's going on, healing these issues is going to help in your transcendence. All right. Friendship. All right. So, oh, isn't that what they call Alcoholics Anonymous? Friends of Bill? Yeah. Got to go to a meeting, get to a meeting, make a date. Get to a meeting. Meetings are held all over the country, all over the world, all times a day. Check with your local community events and things like that, your local churches, Alcoholics Anonymous, they'll let you know when the meetings are. That may be when you need to get to, what you need to get to. Okay. Soulmate relationship. Of course, we already know that. This is what's going on. A new romance with a spiritual basis is here for you now. This is all part of being supportive of one another, friendship, healing. And let's get one last message from the Mermaids and Dolphins. This deck is by Doreen Virtue. Okay. Make a decision. Feeling stuck or indecisive? Listen to your intuition and make a decision. So this is about the awakening, or whether or not to remain in this soulmate relationship because your partner is having issues with an addiction. Follow your intuition and make a decision. And the next card that flew out here, break free. Try different ventures and experiences as a way to grow and learn. A wonderful change. Learning how to work within a relationship, but also learning how to work solo, to work on your own and to work with others, friendships, and healing relationships with your parents, your mother, your authority figures. So that was a message that somebody needed to hear about this alcohol addiction. If that's an issue for you or for someone around you, if it's not alcohol, it could be drugs. And when I say drugs, I'm talking about stronger than marijuana, like heroin, um, cocaine, crack, whatever's going on with these pills. I can't remember the name of them right now, but those type of addictions. Okay, so this is the message for you today, and I'm going to finish this reading with the tarot sexual magic on the other side in the Vimeo, and this will be uploaded as soon as I end this live stream. So thank you everyone for joining me here today. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Share these messages with everyone else. Share it with your soulmate, your twin flame, and I will be speaking to you next time. This is Aries, so I have